This is Bedwars for Dummies Part 2. So if you made it here, I hope you've watched the first video of this little mini-series where we covered all of the game modes. In Part 2, we're going to cover majority of the items and some uses for them. But if you haven't watched Part 1, I would go back and watch that before you watch this part. So, blocks. To start off on the items, we're going to start with the blocks, since they're basically the most used item in Bedwars. So, you can find all of your items with the shopkeeper on your island. And to find the blocks, just click on the clay at the top of the GUI. And so for blocks, we only have a small handful to choose from. And they all have their own uses. First off, we got wool, which is largely used for bridging. And if you're playing solos, then it's also used for bed defense. We also have hardened clay. If I were you, I would stay away from this block because it's more expensive than wool and can be broken pretty fast, so it's just really not great. The third block that is in the block shop is blast-proof glass. So this can protect your bed from being broken by TNT and fireballs. I will cover bed defenses and team upgrades as the next episode of this mini-series, so don't worry if you're not sure of which blocks to use to cover your bed. After glass, we have endstone, which is probably my second most used block out of all of them, and it takes a while to break and it's fireball proof, so that's pretty good. After that, there's ladders, and they're really only used for trying to clutch so you don't take fall damage. Then there's wood, which is good for bed defense as well. And last we have obsidian. Well, that one is pretty self-explanatory. Next we have swords. There's 3 types of purchasable swords accessible by clicking on the sword at the top row of the GUI. And the one you get given every time you spawn in. You can buy a stone sword, which is probably the most commonly bought by being cheap and better than the free wooden one you get. And after that, there's iron, which is most likely the swords you and your opponent will have by endgame, unless mid is heavily used, in which case people will be buying diamond swords, which are absolute weapons that you can chop your opponent's heads off with real fast. However, you can also buy a good old knockback stick to whack your opponents into the void. Armor. You're given free leather armor, which will keep you alive for the first 2 minutes max, and then you better buy other armor, because you're gonna die. The other armors are chainmail, which will have you looking like a knight in the 14th century, and then there's the best armor for cost, which is iron armor. It's pretty good. And then there's diamond armor, but you need emeralds to buy it. Tools. Tools are going to become your best friend. I highly suggest you buy tools as soon as possible because you can break beds down so much faster and let you wreck teams just a lot quicker.
Nice.
There's 3 tools: a pickaxe, an axe, and shears. However, once you buy them, you don't have to buy them again, and you can upgrade the pickaxe and axe up to diamond axes and pickaxes, but every time you die, their level will go down. Bows. There's a total of 3 bows, and the only reason you should be buying a bow is that you're about to fight the dragon, or you're in a final 1v1 sort of deal. But you can buy 3 bows total: an enchanted one, a power 1 bow, and a punch bow. Potions. Then you have potions, probably the most OP items in the game. A jump boost pot, a speed pot, and an invis pot. You can literally go crazy with these. However, they all cost emeralds, so you do have to go to mid. Miscellaneous. Then there's the miscellaneous tab under the TNT and the GUI. There you can buy golden apples, silverfish to help your team, an iron golem, fireballs, TNT, ender pearls, a water bucket, a bridge egg, which will build you an automatic bridge, milk buckets to avoid enemy traps, sponges to remove water, and a pop-up tower. Every one of these have their own use. Some are more useful, but they all come down to your personal preference on their use. That is all for the items of Bedwars. Next, I'm going to cover the different types of defenses and team upgrades. So make sure you subscribe and like this video to see part 3 of the series, and I hope you learned a little bit more from this video. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.